What's up, my friends? Today, let's rip CN2 and talk about one of my favorite sets in order. I guess we just rank the sets. Let's rank MetaZoo sets, right? All right. So, I think. Oh my goodness! Right off the bat, and I already ripped the topper. It was nothing good. Um, so let's just talk about every set in order and likes and dislikes, and just go over that real quick. All right. So the first one was for me, the first one was CN2, but the Kickstarter was the first set. So let's just say CN in general, right? So the box hopper, great, great thing to have at the box hopper. There's so many cryptids in here that are really cool. The art wasn't really quite there yet on some of these. They're kind of finding their footing, but there's so many great chases in these. There's so many great cards. There's like 10 chases honestly in here. There's something for everybody in here. It's a great rarity. Look at that. Metalman is looking great. There's so many great cards. So many great cards. Great set. Box stoppers, brilliant. There was no SR. That's okay because it was introduction. So many great cards. So I think that's like the best set as far as in general. Like all things considered, best set. Second set was Nightfall. I think there was a lot of chases in Nightfall, which was kind of upsetting. I mean, it was good that was there's the SR with the old scratch that you kind of had to like rip anything. Could have been in any pack. No box hopper. That was kind of downer. But the fact that you know there was an SR that was possible was pretty cool. I did not like though that what did I not like? That there wasn't a lot of like chase cards. There's not a lot of cards that you really had to get. I think it really came down to me, at least personally. The cards that I wanted to get were Grim, Wendigo, and the Mothman. Those are really the three cards that I thought were like must get. The rest of them, as as a collector, not so great, but as a player, there's all the cards, all the playable cards were in that set. So I think for playability, it's S tier. I think for collectability, just for the general enjoyment, I love ripping Nightfall. Look at this, 3 chaos crystals in one box. Oh, what a crazy print line too. Crazy print line. So yeah, I think Nightfall still a great set. Just very different from CN. All right, so after that we had Wilderness. Look, another full hollow. We had Wilderness. I thought there was not many chases. Prism Aura probably the best chase of anything to that up to that point other than the SRs. Prism Aura, great. Um, let's see, there was the SRs, which were the tickets. The tickets were a fantastic idea. I mean, obviously it's not like a brand new idea, but it was a good idea to have that help people buy them. Super overprinted. Not a lot of base set cards that were chases. Like, it was awful, but awful looked like a Pidgeot. So you're basing off of Pidgeot, not that great. Um, art was great on the set though. Art was great on all the chases. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just it was just too abundant. Too abundant. Nothing was really special except for the SRs and the SRs. Even when you got them, you still couldn't cash them in on the things that you wanted to get for them. So yeah, not the greatest set. I'd put that in mid range. After that was UFO. UFO I thought didn't have a lot of playability. Didn't have a lot of chase cards in it. It's just personal again. Maybe somebody really wanted the UFO. That's great for you. As I pull Flatwoods. But yeah, not many UFOs in UFO. Not many aliens. Yeah, it was very disappointing. That's probably the most disappointing set. No topper. The SRs were just cards that had numbers on, that were serialized that had gone into space. Yeah, nothing really for me personally. I was not a fan of it, and it really tanked really quickly. That soured me on it as well. So UFO, I put that on the dead last, bottom tier. All right, so after UFO was Seance. Seance I thought was incredible. The mapping was the issue. If you forget about mapping, or if you didn't even know about mapping, it was extremely hard to chase cards regardless. The chase cards were really hard to get. That really soured me on it. It was harder than it was to get, like Pokemon chases. And Pokemon chases are usually out of 1,000. You know, So yeah, that was kind of a bummer that it was really hard to get anything decent with map ability, but the cards very playable. The art was really nice, a little darker, but there's a lot of cool stuff in there. All the Hateful Eight are really cool cards. Yeah, so I think that's ranked under, the CN, not quite CN, maybe a Nightfall level. I'd put that at, because it still had a lot of playability, had a lot of tons of collectability. It was really hard to get those cards, and once you did pull something like Chains of Old Scratch or Satanic Panic, like you were really psyched to get something like that. So yeah, it was really exciting to pull. So I can't front on that, but yeah, just overall kind of sour on it. So that's how I felt about Seance. Really good set, marred by some drama, marred by um, the ability to kind of get cool cards. That was difficult as a collector and as a player too, because everyone was using Curse Contract and it was kind of hard to get that. So speaking of that, let's talk about Native. The Native came after Seance. Native, I think, was probably the best set overall as far as not only did it have collectability, but it also was very playable. You could just play Native and have a nice deck. Um, I think what really hurt it though, it was really hard to pronounce a lot of the beasties. A lot of the cards are really hard to pronounce, which is cool. Like they were true to the true beastie, but they could have chosen nicknames for them, or they could have done something to kind of help that for a newer player. You could not come in at native and jump in as a fan. It was really difficult to do that. But the cards look beautiful. Probably the best art of any of those cards up to that point. Really balanced. It was balanced as far as collectability and playability. Really well done. That is definitely S tier. And after that, it was Kuromi. Kuromi, I would say, is almost universally panned. That's my boy. So, Kuromi was universally panned because it had art that was completely different than any other set. Kind of didn't fit in. Was shoehorned. There was no story that kind of added to it. It wasn't like a story that continued on from Seance or Native or anything like that. It was just randomly out there. The cards didn't fit in really well. The art didn't fit in very well. Look at that moth. Um, Collectability was pretty high. It's impossible to get the SR. It's impossible to get some of those chases. The chases look really nice. I think when they did the big boxes of the reverse hollows of the two auras, those are really beautiful. I think that's the best reverse hollow I've ever seen. Was the friendship aura, the chibi aura. Uh, my daughter loves it so much. She drew a huge portrait of it. It's probably 4 feet wide by 3 feet high, and she has it um put against, like, she taped it to her wall. It's been there for over a year now. Like she loved that. So yeah, I think that there's some pros to it. There was a lot of playability to some of those cards. I think there's a lot of repetitive cards. How many different chromies do you need? You can have a different name to it. It's like 7 different chromies. It was ridiculous. So I just think it was definitely rushed. It wasn't well thought out. It alienated the fan base. A lot of drama. So yeah, it's a mixed bag because there's playable cards. There are cards that I still have in my decks from them, like the Chibi Mothman and stuff. But it's not worth the drama. It's not. Ooh, look at the pants. It's not worth the everything else that I brought to the table. So I'm gonna have to give Kuromi the the UFO treatment. I don't think it was as that level of UFO, maybe slightly above UFO. So I guess you have CN and Native as the top tier. Then you would have right underneath that would be Nightfall, uh, Nightfall and Seance, Wilderness slightly below that, and then UFO and Chromie at the bottom. So yeah, I think that's all the sets, and thank you for sitting, hearing me yap. All right, y'all, peace.